Hi, good afternoon. My name is Vivianne Mason, and today I will be interviewing Don Ferris, who is 65 years old. First, I would like to thank you for allowing me to interview you today. How are you today, Don?
Good, thank you. How about you?
Good. The first question that I have for you today is, are you married?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been married?
This past April it was 36 years.
How many kids do you have?
I have two kids, a son and a daughter.
Do you have any grandkids?
Yes, I do. My daughter has three children, and she lives up in Massachusetts still. And my son is single, and he lives in Florida, actually in Orlando.
Wow. Are you retired?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been retired?
This past May has been 12 years.
Why did you retire?
I worked for the government for 25 years as a senior buyer, and they came up to us with a package, and it was something that was awfully hard to refuse. So I decided to take the package and go my own way.
How have life changed after retirement?
Well, the hustle and bustle has definitely slowed down, and it's not as hectic anymore. I did a lot of traveling, lived out of a suitcase, out of a car, and hotel rooms and restaurants, and that has now changed. Now it's more of a family-oriented, where we do traveling, but it's for pleasure more than business.
How did life? How did you plan for retirement?
Well, through my 401k, I bought real estate. I've owned property in 3 different states at one time, and I turned over I opened up an IRA, and I dealt with a lot of stocks. And I still do that. I still, get my hands into stocks and real estate.
Do you think society has changed?
Yes, I do. It's actually for the worse. I believe it's changed over the last few years. Unfortunately, with all that's going on in the world and the United States, I never thought I would see all these bad things happen to us here, but unfortunately they are.
How do you think it has changed? Do you think it has changed? You said it has changed for the worse. Do you
I,
have any other reasons why you think it changed for the worse?
no, I don't. I'm not a politician, so I don't get into all that. You said this, I said that. It's just every time. Well, every time you turn on the news, rather if it's national news or if it's the local news, it's never anything good. It's always, some kind of attack that's happened to this one and that one, and it just never stops. And I never thought I would live actually in a city where one of the largest terrorist attacks actually occurred at Palace in Orlando, and also back from my hometown where I still have a house up in Boston. I was up there for the marathon. I wasn't at the marathon when the bombs went off, but it's just I never thought that I would be in the situation twice. But it's just so common these days that you never know where. You can't go to a movie and feel safe. You can't go out for a drink on a Saturday night to a nightclub or anywhere and feel safe. You can't even go to a school or a mall anymore. I mean, it's happening all over this country, and it's sad. To a school or a mall anymore. I mean, it's happening all over this country, and it's sad.
Do you think people treat you differently now that you have grown in age?
No, I can't say they have. I try to accommodate the level of age where I'm at. So if I'm with an elderly person, I will talk to them on their level. If I'm with a high school or college kid, I will talk to them on their level. I try to get their interest and, try to speak to them about their interests. So no, I don't feel that they, I've been a talker my whole life. I've been in sales, buying my whole life. So, it comes fairly simple to me. So no, I don't think they have.
Has your social life changed?
My social life has changed possibly very little. I've always been into exercise. Ever since I can remember, when I was in college, I would get up the first thing in the morning at 4:30, 4:45, hit the gym right away. Or when I was playing sports, I played hockey, I'd be on the ice at 5 o'clock in the morning at practice. And to this day, I still get up at 4:30 in the morning if I'm working or not, and go to the gym, and my day starts at the gym. And
Do you keep in touch with your childhood friends?
yes, I do. I still travel back and forth between Massachusetts and Florida. I have a house down there, and they come down to see me. I go up there maybe 3-4 months a year, and we all get together and go out. Most of them worked with me with the government, or were school teachers, and they're all retired now. So most of my friends either worked with the government with me, or most of them are school teachers who are all retired now. So we have plenty of time to socialize and to go, wherever we want to go. Sporting events are a big part of our social life, and football to me is the biggest. And we started off in 1970 with 35 of us having season tickets to the New England Patriots, and now it's down to 2 of us, and we still have them, and I still go to the games. I'll go up there. In fact, I'm going to be leaving here a week from today to go back up there, and I'll go to about 3-4 Patriots games before I come back down here for the mid to late fall. And they'll follow me back down. By the end of the year, we'll go to another football game down here and down in Miami. And hockey's another big sport to me. I played hockey in high school. I played growing up with the Boston Bruins. I've gone to many of their games. I still, when I go back home, I always try to take in 1 or 2 of their games, and the same with my friends. And we just, go out from there. We go into Boston a lot. We live 20 minutes outside of the city, so we have no problem getting in there, either public transportation, or we even ride our bikes in there. So.
Are you taking any medication?
No, I don't take any prescription medications, but I do take a lot of vitamins. I've always been into vitamins because of my workouts and playing sports, so I am pretty, good at taking my vitamins. That's a major part of me getting up in the morning. Before I go to the gym, I take about 9 or 10 vitamins, and when I come back out, I take a few more, and trying to eat healthy, a lot of protein, and not too much fried foods or cholesterol. And, being healthy is a big part of my life.
So do you exercise?
Yes, exercise is a very big part of my life. Like I said previously, I get up at 4:30 every morning if I'm working or not, no matter how hot or cold it is being back up north. And I get to the gym by 5 in the morning, and I do my routine. I have a different routine every day. I usually do between 5 and 7 days some weeks. I like to swim a lot. I swam actually on a swim team back in college, and after college I swam for a swim team back up in Boston. And I try to get swimming in at least twice a week. Sometimes I lack on that. I like outdoor activities. I do a lot of biking. I skied for most of my life. Up to 80 times a year I'd ski. I swam. Beach is a big part of my life. And, exercise is great. My father, he lived to be 80 years old. He died of a freak accident, and he exercised until the day he died. My mother today is 97 years old. She's still living alone back up in Boston. Actually, we're going to head up to see her next month. So exercise and eating healthy has been a big part of my life. Thank God, at my age, I'm not on any medications. And I have the ability to do what I want. I did have one drawback possibly about 20 years ago when I had a hip injury from playing hockey. I had to have my hip replaced, and while doing that, favoring the other hip, I took a toss skiing and busted that hip up. So within a week I had 2 hips replaced. So after I had my hip surgery, within a week I had both hips replaced. It was the best move I've ever done. Just prior to the surgery I could barely walk. After the surgery, within, I'd say 9 months, I was back doing what I've always done: skating, biking, exercising, skiing 60, 70 times a year. And to this day, I'm still pain-free. It's been well over 20 years since I've had them replaced. And like I said, I resumed my normal activities that I've done long before my hip even went bad. The only other issue I had was a few years ago. I had a Tommy John surgery on an elbow that I had injured while moving some furniture, and that's been an issue that's been fairly taking care of itself with the therapy and my own working out. And like I said, that's a big part of my life. I hope I never have to stop working out. Yes, if I do, it's going to be tough. This is something I've been doing since I was in high school, and at 65, I'm still doing it now, very faithfully.
How many days a week do you exercise?
I try to get to the gym a minimum of 5 days a week. The other two, if I don't do anything at the gym, I like to swim or do some kind of a bike ride or some kind of a cardio exercise. I try to stay active. I try to do most of it in the morning. Being in Florida where it's so hot, I like to get it done with early in the morning. Back home, the same thing. I try to do everything in the morning, and then whatever I can't do, I'll play some tennis, or I played racquetball and handball also. I can do that, in the afternoon or in the evening.
Do you think you're healthier now?
I would say so.
Now?
I would say so. Living out of a suitcase, traveling and eating at restaurants, fast food, you sort of can't pick and choose what you like to, the healthy lifestyle, but so you sort of get used to it. It also put a big dent into when I can work out and when I couldn't work out. So yeah, I think since I've retired, I've become a lot more healthy. I actually became more faithful to doing the things I like more than the things I have to do.
Aside from working out and traveling, what do you do now in your spare time? What do you do to keep you busy?
Well, besides that, I do work out. I do work part-time. I work, in the valet area running cars. I do that on a part-time basis. And it keeps me busy, and it's another form of exercise. So, I do that so many months a year, then the rest of the time I'm going to head up north, like I said, and, just relax and go out with my friends and just continue a lighter version of my life.
Why did you decide to go back to work?
Just to fill in the spaces. You need to keep your mind sharp. You need to keep your body sharp. I'm not a couch potato. I'm not somebody that's going to sit around and watch TV, daytime TV especially. I have a hard time sitting there doing something.